This news update is brought to you by
Rock the remote with hours of free karaoke on video on demand from Flow. So bring it like Bay. There's even wonderful kids sing-alongs too. Available anytime. Simply press the VOD button on your Flow remote. This is how we do TV. This is how we flow.
This is the Barbados Today Evening News Update for Tuesday, January 12. Thanks for joining us. I'm Frenella Wedderburn. Less talk, more action. That's the call from Chief Executive Officer of the Small Business Association, Lynette Holder, as she urged the government to deliver on its commitments to the sector. Holder says this year will be another tough one for the sector, and it was time for the government to act on long-standing issues such as providing access to financing to assist small businesses.
This is the time for the government of Barbados to really look assiduously now at putting the framework in place, the legislative framework, the policy framework, all of the impediments to business that we have been talking about for years. This is now the time, we believe, to address these issues. Gone are the days where we are just talking about it.
A win for consumers. That's how economist Jeremy Stephen is describing the decision by telecommunications company Digicel to absorb the 4.5% increase in the value-added tax on mobile voice and data services. The VAT went into effect on January 1.
The Digicel initiative to absorb the 4.5% increase in VAT should be seen in the short run as a win for the average consumer, but only really in the short run until we are very clear as to whether Digicel's ability to sustain that increase in their operational cost, that is the cost of them carrying business, would be possible. In fact, given current conditions and also degrading, though the economy has been turning around of sorts, it's still rather uncertain. It would be a bit remiss of me to state whether this move has any possible positive ramifications in the long run. I suspect not, and it all depends on the ability of Flow as a competitor to see what they can bring to the table.
However, Mr. Stephen, a lecturer at the University of the West Indies, says while he believes that the company can hold its own in financing this increase, he is unsure for how long.
Digicel has had the recent ability via the expected windfall from the government contract that they just got, and the increase in the cost of the provision of data to the clients, to data packages to clients. Though they have also increased the gigabytes in offer, the actual cost has gone up as well, overall cost. So Digicel might expect an increase and be rather confident in this increase in revenue for this new calendar year. So for this year, one could expect, or at least I anticipate, that they should sustain that 4.5% or absorb that 4.5% increase in the value of VAT, in the percentage of VAT, for some time, at least for this year. But to see it going into next year and beyond would be a bit difficult as it stands.
The Barbados Vagrants and Homeless Society issues an appeal to the government and corporate Barbados for what it described as frantic assistance to achieve its mandate. The BVHS is currently trying to acquire some $1.7 million in its new campaign, Building a Future for the Homeless, to attain its own building, and it wants the government and the corporate sector to be a part of this project. The facility, which is situated in the heart of Bridgetown, would assist in what the BVHS says is reducing and preventing homelessness in the country. The organization said over the last few years it has facilitated over 300 homeless and vagrant clients, with more women seeking assistance. Police are investigating the robbery of a female British visitor. According to lawmen, the tourist was attacked and robbed while walking on a section of the Richard Haynes Boardwalk in Hastings, Christchurch last night. The male perpetrator robbed her of all her valuables and a handbag. However, the items were recovered after members of the public pursued the perpetrator, who was apprehended and is currently in police custody. assisting with investigations. Meantime, a pedestrian was rushed to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital this evening following a motor vehicle accident. Details are sketchy, but police say the accident occurred in St. John, close to St. Mark's, involving two vehicles and that pedestrian. Fire destroyed an unoccupied wall house in Lamins Park, St. Joseph. The house belonged to 73-year-old Carlota Williams, who suffers from Alzheimer's. Residents say they had the fire under control by the time officials from the Barbados Fire Service got on the scene. One resident told Barbados Today that the fire began in the back of the house just before 3 this afternoon. 12 fire officers under the command of Division Officer Gittings responded to the blaze in 2 water tenders, a water tanker from St. John and a water truck and tanker from Bridgetown. Investigations are underway into the cause of the blaze.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Naniki Music Festival presents 5 amazing shows from January 13th to 17th, 2016. On January 13th at Holders, we salute Urban Burgee with Island in the Sun by Stefan Walcott's 1688 Big Band. On the 14th, our free Sunset concert at Frank Cullimer Hall with the Rudy Smith Quartet. Reggae legend band Aswad takes over Holders on January 15th. On January 16th, the Nicholas Branker Orchestra and Grammy Award winner Roberta Flack return to Holders. Finally, at Naniki on Sunday, January 17th, Caribbean Fusion in the Hills with Edwin Yearwood, Leston Paul, Ras Eiley, and Serenader. Others include Nikita, Mylan Clark, Rhea Driggs, Vanessa Lee, and many more. General admission tickets from $70 and $250 for VIP.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Regionally, Trinidad and Tobago's National Security Minister is denying claims that the country has recorded a spike in murders. More in this report from TV6 News.
13 murders in the first full week of the new year, 4 of them on Wednesday alone. In the first sitting of Parliament for the new year, the leader of the opposition asked the National Security Minister to account for how his government is responding.
What urgent and specific measures are being put in place to address the recent spike in murders within the past several days?
There's not a spike in the murder rate, Madam Speaker.
Minister Dillon says there are 2 clear causes for the majority of last week's homicides.
Investigation thus far have revealed that the murders in the past 7 days are gang and drug related. Measures adopted include intelligence-led operations targeting known drug dealers and gang leaders.
The minister says one such operation led to the death of Stephen St. Louis, who was reportedly wanted in connection with the shooting death of a 6-year-old boy early New Year's Day.
And on the international front, reports indicate that a member of the Islamic State group may be responsible for the suicide bomb attack in the Turkish city of Istanbul, which killed 10 people. At least 8 of the dead are believed to be German tourists. According to officials, a Syrian national carried out the suicide attack near the city's famous Blue Mosque. 15 other people were also wounded.
Police have cordoned off the area, and this is the heart of Istanbul's touristic area, the heart of the old city in Sultanahmet Square, beside the Blue Mosque, beside Topkapi Palace, beside all those very touristic areas that 12 million travellers a year, tourists a year, come to see. Now, the question is, who could have carried out this attack? Nobody yet has claimed responsibility, but a bit of context for you. In the last 12 months, there have been attacks here in Istanbul by a Marxist group, a homegrown group, that is classified as a terrorist organization by the EU and the US and Turkey, the DKHP.
And that's news and sports, but there's more on our website at www.barbadostoday.vb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also on Channel 101 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM, where you can get all the latest news and sports. I'm Fenella Wedderburn. Good evening.